Alright, peace. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, give honor and praise to the God of Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov. Give a double honors to all the brothers and sisters that the Creator has awoken in these last days. Give a double honors to all the brothers and sisters that the Creator has awoken in these last days. With that being said, peace and shalom. Alright, brothers and sisters, I want to go into a discussion today. I was, at work, so I said I wanted to talk about something. And what I want to talk about is this message is geared towards the young youth. And the reason why I want to talk about these things is you have these individuals. I was listening to a podcast by the brother by the name of Mikey B. He had a podcast that's entitled Hood Love, right? And he was talking about the Big Meech situation. How basically Big Meech, because he couldn't get out of his own way of being the focal point of, the situation that he had with 50 Cent and how 50 Cent helped his son out by, taking him and giving him acting lessons, paying for it and stuff like that, being kind of like a mentor to him while his father was in prison. And when his father got out of prison, his father showed the appreciation by befriending individuals that 50 Cent had a problem with in the past. So when Meech did that, it basically messed up the deal that 50 Cent had with the father and with the son, right? So now all of these allegations done came out saying that Meech is a snitch, and that you got a lady by the name of Tammy Coyne got a lot of this information that he was an informant, and that basically she was an informant, and that Big Meech was doing what you would call third party snitching, whereas a lot of his information will be confidential, and only a select few of people will probably know about what's going on with his case, right? And I think with third party snitching that, a lot of your information won't necessarily be on a certain type of paperwork and things of this nature. But what the young people gotta understand, and also Mikey B made a statement. He said that a lot of the drug dealers, they not gangsters. So he's basically making a distinction between gangsters and drug dealers. He said drug dealers are lowlifes that basically they don't care about their mama. They don't care about they'll sell drugs to anybody. And to what I gather from that quote is that he's trying to make it seem like the gangster, because he said the gangster lives on principles. He lives on morals, values, and things of this nature. And see, that's a wrong statement just as well. And this is what the young people got to understand. And I've been saying this before. Mikey B is a rat. Big Meech is a rat. A lot of these individuals are rats. And see, what you got to understand is you got to take that terminology of the concept of a rat is a person that's telling. That's not true, brothers and sisters, because when you look at the concept of a rat is a bottom feeder. See, that's a scavenger. You know what I'm saying? And see, really, to be honest, when you really look at a rat in its original stage, a rat can basically, it can eat seeds and vegetation and stuff like that. But see, the reason why we say that a rat is a scavenger is because a rat will eat anything. See, a rat is not a vegetarian. A rat is basically a scavenger. A rat gonna eat anything on the plate. And why am I using that? Why am I saying this? Is because they try to make it seem like a person that's telling is a rat. And see, when those people get out of jail, they put that tag on them, and a lot of people have killed people because they have told on people in jail, right? But what we gotta understand is Mikey B and a lot of these gang niggas that went to jail for 20 years, they may not have told on people, but they rats also. They rats. It's because they are down for anything also. Let's look at the gang culture, right? See, because he made the statement that the gangster is a man of principle. No, he's not. It's because, let's look at this, brothers and sisters. The one thing that I like about Puerto Ricans and Caucasians, right? A lot of times when you go to prison, they even said like let's take the Puerto Rican or the Mexican as an example. Like when you go to prison, a lot of the Puerto Ricans, they will look out for their people. And sometimes the person that comes to prison, let's say he's a Puerto Rican, he may not be gang affiliated. But they gonna take him in is because he's a Puerto Rican. They gonna give him a cover. They gonna make sure he got shoes and things of this nature. Of course, he has to follow the pecking order. But a lot of them dudes, they not trying to rape him in the shower. But when black people go to jail, black people don't do that. They take advantage of you. See, they take advantage of you. And this is what a lot of these gang niggas do when they're in prison. They take advantage of one another. I have seen many videos of these guys. They have robbed individuals that look just like them. They have finessed other men out of their rectum. This is what the so-called Negro is doing. So for Mikey B to sit up here and talk about and see, if you are neutral and you go to jail, that's even up here in Chicago. If you're a neutron and you go to jail, you're going to be extorted by your own people. So what is that? There's no love in the community. So his whole title of his show, which is Hood Love, is really based based upon a false premise, brothers and sisters, because there's really no love in the so-called black community. Is because we don't have culture, we don't have a language, we don't have right a nationality. We have it, but we don't know who we are from a nationalistic standpoint of view. And as a result of this, there's no pride amongst us. So you have what you would call a doggy dog world or a Shark Tank mentality when it comes to the so-called black community. He said that the gangster he stands on morals and principles. No, he don't. He is just as violent and he is just as cutthroat as the one that's selling the drugs. And see, this is why I have an issue with a lot of these podcasters are thriving not because they are creative. A lot of these podcasters are thriving, brothers and sisters, is because they are used to trick the young youth out of their freedom. A lot of these brothers that come out here, come out of prison, they talk about how they gonna do for the community. They're not doing nothing for the community, man, but continuing the cycle of the gang nigga culture. That's all they doing. And I'm not saying that they don't do certain things, but what I'm saying is that a lot of these guys are hypocrites. 50 Cent is a hypocrite. We may like him because he's charismatic or he can rap or he's behind the film doing productions and things of this nature. But 50 is a hypocrite also because 50 knew when he started to, because Mikey and them said this. The guy on the right, the guest on his show, said, no, Mikey B said that he believes that 50 already knew that Big Meech was a stool pigeon. So he got a hold to Big Meech and started to work a deal out with him just for the means if he crossed him, he will put the information out that he was a rat. So what is that? So what is that about 50? Is that upstanding? No. That's cutthroat business. And this is what I'm saying about us as a community. This how we are as a community. Everything is about what I can gain or what I can get out of the other person. They already knew that this guy was telling. But 50 is a rat also. Why you say that, Yahshua? The reason why I say that is because what contributions is he making to the black community? He's putting out films that is promoting the destruction and the terror of our communities. This is what he's doing. And who is the major backer of his films and things of this nature? It's the white man. It's the Caucasian. So, and look, what type of principles and what type of morals is the gangster doing? The gangster took an oath to do what? To wreak havoc amongst his community, to tear his community up. That's the oath. So if that's not the concept of a rat, remind you now, a rat is a bottom feeder. A pig is a bottom feeder. Crab, shrimp, and lobsters are bottom feeders. What's that? Snails, octopus, they are all bottom feeders, brothers and sisters. Grizzly bears, tigers, See, we like to say we're silverbacks, but really you're not a silverback. It's because a silverback is a vegetarian, brothers and sisters. It's a vegetarian. It doesn't eat meat. So when we say we lions and things of this nature, we're all scavengers. And see what the drug dealer and the gangbanger, the politicians, the preachers, they sign up to do what? To wreak havoc and terror in the communities. They're not doing nothing that's productive for our communities. Let's look at this for an example. You got the Blood Nation, UBN, or whatever. They got the stuff from California. You got thousands of those brothers strong in the prisons. What are they doing for each other? You got 30 to 40 of 100,000 gang members. I'm just saying for the Bloods, West Coast and East Coast, right? Northwest. What are they doing? What type of money are they generating with each other? Do they pull their nickels and dimes with each other and build up their communities? No, they don't, brothers and sisters. They don't do that. So how's the gangster living off of morals and principles? He made a statement on how some of the gang niggas, they was robbing drug dealers. They robbing drug dealers because why? Why are they doing that? They drop because it's safe. What you think the drug dealer gonna do? He gonna go to the police and go tell? I wanna file a report on the individual that robbed me. Well, what did he take? He took $100,000 and he took 40 keys from me. Why would he go? If he does that, he going to prison. So it's tough, but it's when I say it's safe, they not finna go to the police and tell the police that they got robbed for 70 keys or $100,000, $2 million. They finna be in jail. So, and they robbing them is because what? It's a dog-eat-dog world. There's no unity amongst thieves. And this is what I'm saying to the young youth. We got to stop allowing these individuals to get on these podcasts and spew out a lot of negative jargon, because that's all they doing. They spewing out a bunch of negative jargon, and then you got a lot of the young people, right? I can listen to these guys all day, all night, because I'm able to process what they're talking about. And I can make a conscious decision for myself if I'm going to accept what they're saying, right? But a lot of the young kids that grows up without parents, and see, your parents is supposed to be your role model. So a lot of these guys, they don't have role models. They listen to these guys on television, and then they give you a false representation of what a man is supposed to be. Next thing you know, these young guys running around here with ski masks on, and the next thing you know, they're in prison. It's because our role models is the rapper or the person that's in the community that's causing a lot of havoc, right? And this is why I'm telling the young youth, we got to stop listening to these people. We got to stop listening to these people. We got to start flagging a page. It's because I'm not so much the young people, because a lot of times they can't process what's going on. I'm talking about the older people. We got to start flagging a lot of these guys' pages, because what they're doing is they're miseducating the young youth. Well, in a sense, we should keep their page up there. It's because the older individuals that's watching these pages, they need to start educating the young youth on who not to be like. See? Because this gang culture and this drug dealing culture is what's destroying our communities. Then he talk about, they keep talking about how Big Meech is a rat, and the only way he gonna get some money is if he go on 2020 or some other story to try to promote his story, his life story, and all this type of stuff. Who cares? Meech was an individual that was an informant, and a lot of these niggas, they informants too. It's because they sign up to destroy their communities. That's an informant. And who are they working for? They working for the Caucasian, whether they even understand it or not. I remember I was sitting down with my elders, right? They was in their 70s at the time. They was sitting back talking about old gang politics, right? And they was talking about how when the Blackstone Rangers, quote unquote, the Araucans or the Blackstones, they started out, they was talking about how you had white people, because when the Blackstone Rangers started out, this is during the time when before they started, you had what you call blockbusters, right? A blockbuster was black people that they used to move, black politicians, they used to move black people into predominantly white neighborhoods during the integration era. Like, a white person would get up in the morning, and then next thing you know, a black person come walking out getting the newspaper, right? And they like, damn, we got these niggas in here. And next thing you know, they'll move out the neighborhood. But they will move black people into these neighborhoods at nighttime, right? Then when the white man get up in the morning, he go get his newspaper, or a white family, they see a black family coming out the house. Damn, well, how these niggas get in here? Because they moved them in there at night. So this process was taking place. That one of the processes where black people was moving into these different areas, and then the next thing you know, a lot of the white people will move further south, and they created what you call the suburbs, right? But what you had white philanthropists that wanted those areas back, they started paying black people to tear up their own communities because they didn't want them there. And see, this is some of the underbelly of some of the gangs that was created in the neighborhood. They were being paid by white people to set fires in the neighborhood, cause havoc, right? So when you cause havoc, that will make black people look like what? Savages. And see, when Jeff got the fort on 39th or 38th in Cottage Grove out here in Chicago, where did he get the money from? He got a government grant. And see, you don't think that the white people understood that Jeff Ford was a gang nigga in the street? They understood that. And they gave him the money anyway. And he built what you would call, because the fort was an old movie theater that was in the neighborhood, and they took over it, and they built what you would call the El Rookin Fort. And who gave him the money? It was the Caucasians. They gave him the money. And what did he do? And how do I know this? Because I lived in the neighborhood. What happened? He took the neighborhood under siege. That's what he did. They was selling drugs. They was recruiting young people to be Araucans or Blackstones. And see, back in the day, they used to take people, young kids in the inner city, and bring them to the fort and make them become stones. This is the contribution to the gangster that's in the neighborhood. That's not morals. That's not principles. That's not honor. They made you become gang bangers. And if you didn't want to be in the gang, you was a vagabond in the neighborhood. See, this is what Mikey B and the rest of these guys, they not telling you this. And a lot of these guys join these gangs is because a lot of them cannot stand on their own as men, see. And there's nothing really wrong with being in a social club or a group or organization if the organization is really built upon something that's righteous. The blood nation and all that bullshit, that ain't nothing. That's not nothing righteous. Gangster disciples, beat it, that's not nothing righteous. That ain't nothing but a group of clowns with rubber noses that's running around causing confusion in the neighborhood. And this is why our young kids is messed up, right? It's because our parents, the people that we supposed to look to as role models, they are miseducating us as parents. Over there in California, you got a lot of these kids, they mamas and daddies, their grandparents are Crips and Bloods. What type of education that you gonna get? What type of education that the kid is gonna get as a youngster? So when we start talking about ratting and telling, a rat is not that's just a term that I believe that the Italians started to identify people that is being stool pigeons or telling on people. But I'm telling you, brothers and sisters, that's not a rat. A rat is a scavenger. A pig is a scavenger. Why do Muslims or some people that deal with health, they don't want to eat the swine because they understand a pig will eat anything. And that's the same thing with a rat. You don't see people going to the store, Jewels, Osco Drugs, or any other store that's in the neighborhood. They don't sell rat in there. Why? Because people is not going to buy that. It's because they understand that a rat is a filthy animal. So the rat is not just telling. The rats are the people that's in the neighborhood causing confusion. And this is what Mikey B and them represented before they went to prison. This is what they represented when they was in prison. And a lot of times those guys, they stop, they take the gang culture off of their jacket is because a lot of times they want to get out of prison. But they still have the morals and values of the gang culture. That's why he's sitting up here talking about this stuff. So, in my conclusion, young people, you got to start listening to a lot of these people. A lot of these folks are doing nothing but tricking you out of your freedom and giving you a false representation of what a man is supposed to be. And I'm going to tell you something, brothers and sisters. It is very difficult to be a man. A man, you're not a man just because you can bench 350 pounds. You're not a man just because you can fight good. That don't make you a man. A man is a person that, just like he said, stand on morals and principles. He has loyalty, right? He's not going to take a substance and he's not going to sell it to his community that's going to set his community back for 100 years. That's not a true concept of a man. A man is not going to build an organization or a group, hang around a group of people that their whole purpose is to destroy the community, have kids, right? Not raising kids properly, robbing the community stores and things of this nature, going to prison for 5, 10, 20 years. He ain't never raised his kids, right? That's not a man. So these podcasts are put here for a reason. They're put here because a lot of the young guys do not know how to process what these guys are saying. And the next thing you know, they start emulating and operating in the same capacity as these guys. And the next thing you know what's going to happen. It's either going to be death or prison. So with that being said, brothers and sisters, peace, shalom.